Randy, these are your Solexes that sat for so long. I don't know, you said a year, 2 years, I'm not sure. Um, they were just full of a lot of sludge. You can see remnants of it here. When the Solexes are not operated and the second barrel is not opened, that happens at above 3,000 RPM usually when you get a vacuum signal from the first barrel over to the second barrel. It opens up the second barrel butterfly and it sucks all that fuel in there and exercises the carburetor. Well, if it doesn't get exercised, the excess fuel that builds up in there is supposed to go in a little hole inside here, and that goes through a passageway underneath here and gets drawn into the first barrel. But even if that takes place, still you get this buildup of sludge, and it can eventually seize the second barrel butterfly, just stick it closed. Other things that I found was the idle jet on the number 2 carburetor was indeed clogged. I had to poke it out with a wire bristle. The passageways in both carburetors for the idle circuit were completely full of sludge and gunk. Blew them out. The accelerator pump diaphragms and base gaskets were full of sludge. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm sending these things back to you. They got strange coloration, and this chunk right here was in the float bowl of one of the carburetors, and the other ones had a strange calcification of material that was really hard to get out inside the float bowls, in addition to sludge. The idle mixture screws were too far out, and I'm trying to think what else. Well, of course, I changed all the accelerator pump diaphragms and gaskets because they were getting hard and full of crap. So I also adjusted the choke mechanism, the choke aligning lever right here, the jam nut and screw that aligns the choke lever with the cable with the other choke lever. This one was out too far, so it made it awkward to put my little test wire in there. Also, the choke was binding up, and now it's not. So I got that taken care of on the first carburetor. Now then, what we're getting is excessively high air consumption through the first barrel, which is giving you the high idle. And I'm not sure what that's from. I know what I need to do. I need to go get some carburetor spray, so when I start the carburetors up, I'm going to check for leakage. Hang on. I'm going to use some B12, excuse me, losing my voice, B12 around the throttle shafts to see if there's any leakage other than right through this barrel here. The expected results when these things were brand new, airflow. Remember, these were 1950s French carburetors, and the state of the art of machining was probably not very good. The problem is the throttle shafts and the butterflies are not necessarily on centers. The machining of making the holes, the throat round relative to the butterflies, that machining was a little suspect. And so what you can do is you shine a flashlight, a really high powered flashlight, like one of these little, excuse me, didn't mean to do that, like one of these guys right here, and you shine it from this side and with the butterfly closed, and you look to see how much light is coming around the perimeter of the butterfly. And the more light, the more air is going to be processed, and the higher the idle is going to be, and more your inability to adjust the carburetors is going to take place. So Our expected airflow from new carburetors through here was about 2 to 3, and these should adjust around 5 or 6. And the numbers I'm using are off of the synchrometer, and the one you need is the BK1 through 35 kilograms per hour. This thing right out of the box fits perfectly. And so I'm going to start the engine, warm the carburetors up, because you can't do anything with them until they're warmed up, and then show you that even with this throttle linkage closed and this screw completely out, the idle, the screw for setting the idle, with that one completely out, this thing's processing too much air and giving you a high, too high of an idle speed. And I'm gonna at that time I will also disconnect this so that you can tell that it's not due to the lever. And then I'm also going to show you what, in fact I can do it right now, operate the choke. We're not getting any movement here, and then also over here I want to make sure there's nothing, this counterweight is not impinging on the throttle, first barrel throttle, because if that counterweight is screwed down too tight, it will artificially open up the first barrel or keep the first barrel from closing completely. So those are the things I'm going to check, and then I'll adjust the idle mixture screw and show you that that's still doesn't do anything. All right, a couple of that's about 11, well, that's about 1400 RPM idle. Let it warm up a little bit. Okay, 90-degree heat, actually it's 95 here. It doesn't take long for these things to warm up. So first thing we're going to do when we're adjusting these carburetors, make sure that the linkage is not part of the issue. So we disconnect the linkage, and they're independent of each other. Now first, let's try the, so we're getting about 1.5 flow right there, which is pretty damn impressive for these old carburetors. 1.5 right there, so anything below 2 or 3 is gravy. Now then, flow through here, running at 4. Ordinarily these things should be idling at around 6. And this guy right here is 8, 7.5, 8. And no matter what I do, I can't get it to idle any lower unless I really pull up on it, which means I'm flexing the butterfly. So if I flex the butterfly and pull up on it really hard, I can get down to 6.5. We should be able to idle this thing down to, like this one over here, should be able to get them down to around 3 or 4, which is a really slow idle. And again, I'm going to move the counterweight, and you hear it's not part of the problem. And I've already demonstrated that choke is not part of the problem. So we've got a butterfly that's not seating properly. And we can also adjust the idle mixture screw, and that will change things, but it doesn't do anything to the airflow. We're still at 7, even though we adjusted the idle mixture screw, it's still at 7. And all we're doing is leaning it out. That's too lean right there. Back it out. Get about the midpoint. Same thing over here. Too lean, back it out, picking up RPM, that's about right there, but we still have the airflow situation, still at 7, with the inability to get it below that. So now I'm going to shoot carburetor cleaner and see if we pick up idle RPM, which indicates where we got a leak. You can hear it come pulling into that. Damn it. Alright. I did not mean to kick the camera. It's hard to videotape and be working on these things at the same time, as you can imagine. Okay, so we're leaking through this throttle shaft here. How about over here? A lot of leakage through that throttle shaft. I'll see if I can put some O-rings on there. Now we'll go over here. Over here to this first carburetor. See how it responds. Leaking as well. Alright, about the same amount of leakage through the shaft. So all of our major airflow is going through that butterfly, and I will also take it up. Once these cool off, I'll take the carburetor off and do the flashlight test and show you how much leakage is taking place. And I think I'll take them both off and try to put seals on the throttle shafts. But considering, unfortunately, it's still idling too high, so it's almost, that's about 1400 RPM. They work great otherwise. Just has an excessively high idle due to worn out carburetors.